So are you homeless?
Not anymore.
Okay. What happened to it that got you out of homelessness? And how long has it been?
I've been not homeless for about a month now.
Okay, about a month.
But I
And
was
so
homeless for about 5 months.
about 5 months?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So what happened 6 months ago that caused you to become homeless in the first place?
To be honest, I went to jail.
Okay.
It made me start over my entire life.
It'll do it, man. People don't realize how one like mistake or one bad decision could really like just ruin everything.
Yeah.
And because you know your job, and then you lose to this, and you
everything.
So tell me what happened with you. How detail, step by step, like what happened?
How I got to jail?
Well, yeah. How you got to jail?
Well, I got to jail because I got into it with somebody, and so I
A male or a female?
A female.
Okay, what was it about?
Oh man, it was so small and minute. I was cooking and my music was too loud, and they didn't like it, so we ended up getting to it. But I was arguing with her.
Was this a roommate?
Yes.
Okay, so was this like a family member or just
kinda something like family? Yes.
Okay, so you link up with somebody that you know and love.
Yeah.
Did you know this person from adulthood or from childhood?
From childhood.
Okay, so this is a close person.
Very close.
And so what happens with close relationships is you're close, but then you also have a lot of time to build up different resentments and things like that.
Yeah.
So what was it? What was the meat and potatoes of why y'all really got into it? I understand what the trigger was, is the music or whatever, but what was really going on?
I feel like the meat and potatoes of it was a control thing. She wanted it her way, I wanted it my way. We couldn't meet in the middle.
And so was this an apartment or house or what?
It was a house.
It was a house, and so it was renting, I'm assuming?
It's owned.
By who?
By us. By us.
Is this a cousin or something?
No, I don't want to say who
Sister?
it was.
It's a sister.
I don't want to say who it was.
So this is a sister,
They
okay.
might see it. We done made up since then, so I don't want to put her
Yeah,
out
like
there.
I get it, but this is for the audience to understand.
Very much a very close member of my family.
So it's for the audience so that we can understand how these things happen.
Okay.
So it's not to embarrass anybody or anything like that, but the more detail we get, the more we can relate to it, right? So a family member that you grew up with, we'll just say that.
I'm gonna say it's my aunt.
It's your sister. Okay, so okay.
All right, so here we go. If y'all don't know in the back,
It's going down. I'm yelling timber.
it's her girlfriend. That was DV. The DV cases amongst female on female relationships are the highest. And she said she was living in this house and the music was up too loud. They got to fight and she went to jail.
That ain't sister or auntie. That's why she don't want to say it. Yeah, come on, man. That's DV at best. Now, this is not okay. How in the world are two feminine creatures, two women, I don't care, lover, sister, how y'all in the house and things boil over to the point where at least one person going to the hooskow and have to start their life all over? That is not okay. These are not normal bumps in the road. This is sick.
Okay, so what? So okay, and how many years apart are y'all?
She's older than me. She's my elder.
By how many years?
A lot. I'm only 35. She was in her 50s. Yeah.
Okay.
But we didn't scrap. It was just an argument that turned bad.
Well, how did you end up in jail about it?
Because she called the police and the police took her side.
But was there any? So there must have been like some damage to the walls or something like that. There has to be something.
I'm gonna tell you, I was cooking.
Uh-huh.
So when I started to argue with her, I had the knife in my hand. I was cutting cabbage. I keep telling everybody that, but she felt like I was threatening
I
her.
mean, and I get it. You was cutting cabbage,
Yeah.
but we can admit maybe that there was also like, well, it's convenient because I'm cutting cabbage and I'm also
I'm
like.
mad.
Tonight's show, the lack of accountability equals the end. She said, I went to jail for cutting cabbage. I wasn't doing nothing. I was making dinner. Police came and took me to jail.
These are two women fighting and arguing. HQ. There was not a man to sit there with his God-given masculinity to help regulate her emotions. And look how things went so far left. She wasn't cutting no cabbage. She was trying to cut on her little lover friend.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's a female, it's still two people. Well, I mean, they got some type of relationship. They should, as an adult, you should be able to regulate your own stuff. The problem is neither one of them are able to do that. So, I mean, as long as you know you're not able to do that, it's an issue that you have on your own. I mean, there's nothing you can do if you at this age, she's 35, late 30s, the other one is 50s. It's very difficult to learn how to control yourself once you get a certain age because you think what you're doing is normal. You think that's okay. And these two women thought it was okay. So therefore, you know, there's nothing to be said to these two women. They just out of control, period. Nobody has stopped them. Nobody has said no. Nobody has said anything to them before now. Otherwise, it never would have occurred. They never would have got into it.
So I'm raising the knife in the air. She's like, "Oh, you threatening me with a knife?" So she calls the police, and I said, "Call them, because I'm gonna let them know I'm cooking." But they didn't want to hear anything I had to say.
You shouldn't have admitted to holding a knife at all. That's the only way you would have been able to avoid jail.
Right, but I was trying to explain to them I was only holding it because I was in the process of cutting.
Yeah,
they didn't want to hear
that you incriminated yourself once you did that.
Therefore, I got simple assault and ended up in jail for
how long?
Quite a bit. Well, I was in there for 30 days at first, and then I ended up violating probation because when I got in jail, I lost my job. So I was unable to pay the probation officer what they wanted, and I lost my car. So all that just got lost in those 30 days.
So
I ended up going back for 60 more days.
Wait.
It was a lot.
So you was in there for 30 days. Who got you out? Or was it signature
bond?
I just did the time. Okay, so signature or okay, so you didn't even have to get bonded out. You did the 30 days that you were sentenced to. And you got out and your job was gone.
And because I couldn't pay the note.
Okay, they came and picked the car up already?
Yep.
And so what was you on probation for?
Because, you know, once you do 30 days, they still put you on probation. Well, they put me on probation.
Okay, so you wasn't previously on probation.
No. This is my first time getting in any type of trouble with the law. Yeah, it was a lot. I would love for you to share this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ended up having to go back because you had just got on probation for that incident.
And they didn't even give me time to get my life back together before they locked me right back up. And the judge did not want to hear what I had to say.
And this was in Atlanta or DeKalb or what?
Clayton County.
Say less. Okay. Right. Now I understand what's going on. This was Clayco. Okay, you got to stay out of Clayco.
Stay out of Clayton County.
Okay, because they lock you up for fun down there.
Yes, they do.
Okay. So you did another 60 days. Jeez.
Okay, so I want to get you in, Raquel. This your city. You can get locked up in Clayton County for cooking dinner, Raquel? Just cooking?
Clayton County is run by a whole bunch of us. Okay? And they broke. It's the closest to the airport. You broke out there. It's a lot of impoverished people living in Clayton County. So the only way they making money is if they locking you up and putting you on probation. So if there is no like working with them. Like I'm in DeKalb County. Fulton County is a lot of us, but we got a lot of money in DeKalb County. It's a lot of money in Fulton County. In Clayton County, it's not a lot of money out there. It's a lot of impoverished people. So that's how they make their money. So you know that when you're driving through certain areas and you see you're in Clayton County, you better slow down. Like I'm not speeding through Clayton County. Because if I'm going over a certain amount of miles over the speed limit, it's an automatic lockup. Whoa. It's a problem. It's a problem. I mean, it's worse than Rockdale County. And Rockdale County is like Conyers. It's more white. You know, it's a little bit more balanced between rich and poor. But out in Clayton County, it's all hood. Hood.
All right. And so
when I got out,
did you just have 60 days and then you didn't have to get a bond again? Like, or did someone bond you?
No, I did my time. They didn't even give me a bail. When I did the 60 days, they said, you get no bail. You're not even good enough. They said you don't meet the requirements of probation. So they maybe do, actually said 90 days, but they do 2 for 1.
Okay. So
end up breaking down to, I guess,
60 more days basically for the 30 days that you had already did, I guess. Okay. So, wow. So when you got out of jail, essentially, I guess you was homeless at that point?
Yeah.
So your aunt, I mean, not aunt, your whoever it was, older sister, wouldn't let you back into...
I was actually, the judge ordered that I couldn't go there.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually, the judge, I mean, not the judge, the police officers told my family they couldn't help me. Yeah.
That you're okay.
Because they were looking for me before they put me back.
Right.
Because I had a warrant because I wasn't doing the probation. So they were looking for me and they told my family members not to help me or they would get in trouble too. So therefore I had to be on the streets.
Okay, so I got to break this down because do you have any kids?
Yeah.
How many?
Four.
Four?
Yeah.
Who do they live with?
They're with their dads now. During that time, they had to go to their dads.
So they was living with you, and then they end up having to live with their dads?
Yep.
How many dads?
Well, now they're currently still there.
No, I mean, how many? We got 4 kids. How many dads?
Oh, just 2.
Two, okay.
Ex-husbands. I was a married woman. Thank you.
Okay, so you was married. I was about to ask
Out
that.
there.
Yeah, and scoot over a little bit to stay in the sun. Right here, perfect. Okay, so all right. Okay, so 4 kids, two dads. Did the marriage produce any of the kids?
Yeah.
How many?
All of my kids were produced by marriage.
Okay, you was married twice?
Yes.
Wow. Because I was sitting there wondering, this girl is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Right? I'm like,
Oh. So here we are. Bonquisha up here, 35 years old, with 4 kids by 2 men, allegedly, 2 ex-husbands, and somehow she ended up homeless on the streets, scissoring timbers, living with women, going to jail. My God.
That's what I'm talking about. How did we wind up here, ladies? We have to learn from this sick cautionary tale. This woman was once married twice.
Right.
Twice, HQ. And now you homeless, carless, jobless, and childless. And laughing about it.
She didn't have any she didn't have a backup plan. See, when I first got pregnant, I said to myself, this is what happened. I got pregnant with my first child. I was in college. I came home. My mother was like, why you here? Why you come home? She said, you and only you gonna be the one that got to take care of that kid. So take your tail back to college, get your degree, and make sure that you can take care of that kid and you always have money in the bank because you're the only one you really got to depend on. So I went right back to school and decided I was never, ever going to be without money in the bank and where I wouldn't be able to pay my rent. I wouldn't be able to pay whatever I needed to pay because I knew I had children. And the problem is with these ladies out here who have babies, they just have babies and they don't have backup plans and they don't have no money on top of not having any education. You should never have no 4 kids and don't have a backup plan. Period, point blank. You should never have 4 kids and not have a backup plan.
Backup plan as far as what?
As far as having some money in the bank, as far as putting away $10 a week, saving that money and don't touch that money. That's what I mean by having a backup plan.
I think backup plans are dangerous.
You got to have some money in the bank if you have 4 kids and you can't depend on something. Why didn't one of them ex-husbands pay half her rent or help her pay half her rent? Because she didn't have anybody.
That ain't their responsibility.
My point exactly.
Kids now. So if you can't, I say this all the time. If a woman can't afford to take care of her kids, give the kids to their daddy. It's not a matter of he should pay her more so she can take care of the kids. No, you can't afford to do it. In this case, the kids is with their dad and they doing well.
Right. And she's out there homeless and doing whatever she got to do because she didn't have no backup plan. I'm always thinking 3-4 steps ahead. I don't know about other people. I'm just saying, when you got kids, you got to think 3-4 steps ahead, not the next day, not the next.
If she would have stayed with one of her husbands, she wouldn't be fighting with her auntie or her scissor me timbers lady.
Right.
There you go. Ultimately.
Yeah, so she was married twice. I would say she is suffering the consequences of a woman with 2 divorces. You don't get to just walk around unscathed. This is it.
And this is as good as it can be for this situation. At least her kids didn't wind up in the system. Let's pull up in chat. It's typically much darker than this. Her kids with a father. She essentially now out here without the responsibility of her kids. She can get on her feet fairly easy.
How does she not have anybody that she can just kind of lean on in emergencies?
I mean, there was people out here who were willing to help, like this Polo helped
Well,
me.
I don't mean like people like Polo. All right, Polo's look. So what kind of help you talking about, Polo? Show, do it now. Don't not do it now. See, you be fake as hell, Polo. You be phony as hell. All right, Polo be fake as hell. He just did a thrusting movement, y'all. He did a thrusting movement. But okay. Now I'm not talking about people you met out here.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about so let's break this down.
Well, that's when you learn who your real friends are.
Listen, say that, okay? But okay, so you've been married twice.
Yes.
How long did both marriages last?
Well, my first marriage, I got married at 19. That one lasted 3 years. My second marriage lasted 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so why did these marriages dissolve? Let's start with the first one.
The first marriage, I just feel like we were too young to be honest, and there was a lot of. I mean, he was abusive. I would just keep it funky. He was abusive.
Physically abusive?
Yeah, and mentally. So
Okay.
I couldn't deal with that. I had to leave. Second marriage, we just couldn't meet eye to eye. I don't know if people know about this, but this is a real thing. I had a spiritual awakening and something he couldn't understand, so we just grew apart.
Now, spiritual awakening, you talking about like you got into crystals
Well,
and
more so,
the
God
thing?
came to me and talked to me and made me realize the path I was going on wasn't the path I was supposed to be on.
What?
I baptize you in the name of Jesus. Have your way, Lord. Have your way, Lord. Have your way, Lord.
God, at some point, they got to bring God into the room now. God told her to leave her second husband. Who is this, Eve? And was he Adam? What's going on?
Listen, I'm gonna explain why I don't believe nothing that she's saying. I don't believe that God is cruel. I don't think God told her to do anything that led her homeless, jobless, childless, and carless with a bum giving thrusting motions at her. I don't think this was God's plan at all. I don't know who was talking to you, maybe like a sleep paralysis monster or something, but I don't think it was the Lord.
It was the serpent in the garden talking to her. I know a lot of women like this that say that they've had a spiritual awakening, and it always leads them down the wrong path. And that's how you know it's the serpent, because if it was truly God, the husband that you were with, you would make a better life for the both of you, because that's what God wants, right?
Amen. Amen.
What was that?
Of submissiveness and cutting, not honoring myself.
So wait, he said that God said he didn't want you to be
He
submissive?
wanted me to honor myself.
Okay, come over here real quick. We gotta get in the sun. Come over here. Come over here real quick. All right. Hold on, Polo. Hold on. All right, give us a second. Let me step into my office real quick. We just need a little bit of privacy, just a little bit. All right. You come right here. I know. I appreciate you, and I got you. All right. All right. Right here is perfect. Okay. Okay. So now let me ask about this. Because what was it that, so you were being submissive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what was it about that was wrong, or that was?
I'm not feeling like being submissive is wrong if you're being submissive to someone who's leading you
in the right direction.
Right way. And I'm not saying
Okay.
he wasn't a good leader. I just don't think he was a good leader for me, because
Why?
I was shutting down a lot of things that I believed in order to fit his beliefs.
Like what? Give me an example.
Let me see. Let me think of an example.
Yeah, take your time.
It was just
No
like
rush.
certain things that he would do as far as children. Like, remind you, I came in with children.
Mm-hmm.
And
How many?
2.
Okay.
I came in with, I came in my second marriage with 3 kids.
Oh, so you had 3 from the first
Yes,
husband.
and of course, once you get married to someone, they become the stepdad.
Right.
And I didn't like his way of like punishing and things of that. Like, I feel like he was overdoing things when it came to my children. I feel like I'm a protector of my kids before anything.
Well, let me ask you this: are your kids male or female as far as the
2
3
boys,
that came
2
into?
girls.
And at this point, it don't even matter. This dude was a stepdaddy to 3 children. This why we say being a stepdad is the worst deal on the market, unless you are a simp. If you a simp, she can push you over. But if you go in this house with some structure, she's going to turn it down. You can't tell her and her kids what to do. They're going to do whatever the hell they want, and you need to get in line.
This poor dude married her with 3 kids. I assumed she was 2 and 2. She 3 and 1. She came in with 3 kids. Of course, this dude had to try to establish some freaking structure. And after all that, put a ring on her finger just for her to wake up one day and say, sorry, baby, the Lord told me to leave you and take care of myself. God.
And you know what, Mr. Walker? Justice was served. That was righteous. We tell y'all don't go up in here. She had 3 kids. She was divorced. You went up in there, you got what you deserve.
Bingo. Amen.
Okay, so
the 3 was
2 boys,
1 girl, 2 boys.
Okay, so 2 boys, 1 girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I get how that can be dicey, but I'm gonna ask a real question, right? I mean, could you not figure this out before you got married to him?
No, I mean,
y'all didn't have
honestly,
that's a real important thing to talk about.
We dated for maybe 3 or 4 years before we got married, and I liked how he treated my children then. But it seemed like once we got our house and got married, things changed. He became kind of like a dictator. And I hate to use the word narcissist, but I have to.
That's a buzzword.
I know.
And I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna push back on this.
That's fine.
We all are. This homeless woman, she's homeless, calling one of her ex-husbands a narcissist. So what about the woman? What about the woman that called the police on you and got you locked up? It was her too. What about your first husband? Oh, it was him too. What about everybody else? Everybody else. The accountability lies on your shoulders, Bonquisha.
Yeah, for all of the single moms out there looking to land a husband, come on, y'all single ladies that's done it. Talk to her. He gonna come in and establish some structure, because you out here, regardless of how you wound up, regardless of how you wound up being a single mom, structure is needed. And she's so far from structure, she said, oh, you a whole dictator trying to come in here and bring in some structure and discipline. She was never a wife. Don't find out the hard way like her ex-husbands did.
Because I honestly
I hate to use it because people hate it.
It's
a real word, and it has a definition.
Well, you say like dictator. Yeah. Honestly, what I hear, he was being a man and trying to lead his house. He was being a man and trying to lead his house.
And I agree with that. And that's why
you chose him.
I chose him, but he didn't do it in a way that I felt like was pleasing to me.
Give me an example.
I'm trying to tell you.
No. Give me like a hard example of like something that he did, said, or energy that he had towards the kids. So what I'm hearing, just to preface this,
all joy would leave. When he would walk in the house, all joy would leave. It was almost like Vontae's here. Everybody get on their P's and Q's, but it's almost like
that damn thing called accountability.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, because when Vontae's at work, y'all be in the house listening to Glorilla, Ratchet Red. The girls is twerking. The boys is drawing on the walls and cussing and drinking beer. People doing whatever they want to do till daddy walk in. They like, everybody get on you. We can't do whatever we want to do anymore.
My goodness. What did I say? They cannot recognize a real man. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's a husband's, a father's superpower to help y'all women. Yeah, I hear the kids give my wife a hard time. I just walk up to them like, everybody sit down. They sit down. And she be like, thank you, babe. Appreciate it. Like, don't worry about it. Sit down, leave y'all mom alone. Bingo. That's what they're supposed to do, Bonquisha. But sisters like this, is her and her bastard kids against her new step husband. It's the kids and the mom against the husband. And that's why you got this energy. Now he a dictator and a narcissist because he was trying to give y'all some structure and accountability. My goodness.
HQ, you said that your husband worked in like the prison system, right? He was like a correctional officer. When he came home, wasn't it a bit more serious in the house than it was when he wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, same with me. Same with me and my husband. When my husband comes home, the TV gets a little lower. I'm telling the kid, you better have your homework done. So when daddy asks you any questions, we are above board and he don't have to yell at you or me about what's not done. That's a man's structure. That's not narcissism.
Right. That's normal.
But our home,
you didn't get it.
Our home
it went over here.
It's supposed to be a place where you are loving and
they get it peaceful. It should feel like home.
It shouldn't be a job.
So the energy
They
was
have
bad.
Jobs when they go to school.
I get it. I listen. I understand. I'm pushing back because I hate to see people do things. They get married and stuff like that. Like, one of the things that I held so much pride in with my parents and their marriage was that they stayed married.
Yeah.
And through whatever, ups, downs, good, bad, whatever,
So
they stayed married.
My parents
And
been married for 43 years, so I saw that. But I also saw a lot of toxic things.
I was
as
about to
grew
say,
up.
and I get that, right? I get that. But I'll say this. My dad just passed. We just had his funeral 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I saw my mom just be there the whole time.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that type of love, like, if you ain't coming to me with that, go away. You know what I'm saying? As far as marriage goes. So, okay, so I ain't gonna press you too much on that, but it irks me a little bit, all right? Because what I'm hearing is he was trying to be a man. He stepped up and was agreed to, you know, be a dad to the 3 kids that he didn't have biologically.
And I didn't ask him to do that because they actually have a good father of their own. But I see what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not downing him whatsoever. I'm just saying.
It just didn't work for you.
Right.
I get it. Okay,
We're not
okay.
the same people anymore.
I get that. Okay, so, all right, so let's just start from the beginning. Where you from?
I'm from Atlanta, baby.
Man,
Grady,
you
baby,
from
all
here? You a
day.
Grady baby?
Baby, all day.
Look at
What's
you.
up?
Hey, look, try to keep that Atlanta accent in now.
What's
She kicking
up?
that Atlanta accent in.
I'm from Atlanta, ho. That's right.
ATL.
Fuck with it.
Hey, man, what part of Atlanta you from?
Well, don't even start. I'm really from like all over, but I'm gonna say College Park, okay?
Okay, shout out to the SWATs, man, all day. All right, so growing up here in Atlanta, did you have both mom and dad in the household?
Yes, I did.
Okay, they were married?
Yes.
Okay, and so brothers and sisters?
I got 5 brothers and sisters.
And so, where are you in the birth order?
I'm the baby girl.
Okay, so, all right, so that's all starting to add up, okay? That's all starting to add up. Okay, so you're the baby girl. How many years apart are you from the closest sibling in age?
Well, I'm 2 years apart from my brother, and I'm 2 years apart from my older sister.
Okay, so you had
in the
kids
middle.
around you when you was, okay, gotcha. Okay, so growing up, would you say you had like a fairly normal?
How you in the middle and you said you was the baby? Is she drunk? She said I'm the youngest, but then she said there's somebody younger than her.
Youngest girl.
Okay.
I
So boom, that got a lot to do with it. She's spoiled. So you know, man, that's something to take heed to.
Right.
Spoiled, and I'm definitely getting a tinge of mental illness. You know, she kind of seems more feminine than what I was expecting for her to be. A wild harlot for the streets and in prison and in jail. She seem a little soft, don't she? Just a little bit. She don't really seem all the way hardened. But then he asked him, where you from? She started cursing and stuff. I think she got some mental illness.
I think it's a tinge of the crack. Her and Polo been out there smoking on the pipe. That's what I think. That's what
there we go. God dang it, Polo.
Childhood? Yeah. Good childhood. Did all the normal stuff. You know, ended up going to school, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Graduated. Any college after that?
I went to hair school.
Okay.
Became a very, very successful hairstylist.
Okay. And so what happened to that?
I got in jail, baby. I lost a lot when I went to jail. You lose clients, you lose everything.
But you can't get them back?
You can, but when I got out, I was like, I was just so irked.
Yeah, because everything was like down.
I was so irked, so I just was like, let me just start fresh. I had to. And, you know, people looking at you sideways when you go to jail, clients as well.
Yeah,
So it's kind of hard to, like, go back from being gone for so long. They done found new hairstyles by now.
Well, yeah, okay. It ain't like you was gone for like 9 years or nothing. So I'll say this. Hold on real quick. I'll say this, right? Like, to me, I get it, but at least it wasn't like you had like a 9-to-5 where they fired you and now you got to find something else.
I was working for the airport as well, and they did fire me.
Okay, so that job you got fired, and I understand that. But the hairstyles thing,
I mean, I can still do that
yeah, crank back up, like crank back up. So is it a mental block that like kind of stopped you or whatever?
A mental block and just a spiritual block, honestly. I was just like through.
No, I get that. I get that 100%. I'm gonna go ahead and ask because I'm always shocked when I ask this question at the answers that I get sometimes. But when you were younger, did anything like ever happen to you or anything like that?
Not that I can remember.
Okay. Now that you can remember?
Yeah, you know, when you baby, you don't remember stuff. But
okay.
As far as my memory
goes, so okay, so no like
to
trauma or nothing like that.
Right.
Okay, all right. And so you got married fairly young. What do you attribute that to?
Religion.
What religion are you?
Well, I'm not a religion anymore, but I was a very strong Christian at that point, and I felt like I actually got pregnant when I was 18. And I was trying to make it right. So I told my baby daddy, marry me so we can make this right. And he did.
I ain't mad at that because you come off like a good girl.
I'm a good girl, but don't fuck with me.
Okay, because like, when did you start having sex? Like, when did you lose your virginity?
18.
What?
Yeah.
So wait, so you did the good girl thing
for a long time,
and then when you started doing it, got pregnant shortly thereafter.
Immediately, because I'm fertile. I got twins.
Don't kiss you because you might have a baby.
You might get a baby.
You might get pregnant. Okay. So what made you decide to like, or what made you become less religious, or to give up Christianity?
The spiritual awakening that I had. I'm telling you, God literally came to me and told me I wasn't going on the right path. And I'm not telling other people to follow my path. I'm going on the path that I chose for myself, which was to be spiritual, not religious. So that knocked a lot of people out of my life because religious people judge you.
Well, I tell you what, that is a big old fact. That is a big old fact. But what I've learned is, when you're in Rome,
do as the Romans
do. Speak the Roman language.
Right.
Like, if I'm in Greek, I'm not gonna speak. If I'm in Greece, I'm not gonna speak Spanish.
Right.
I'm gonna speak Greek.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they understand. So
Right.
even when
I'm
not
a follower.
It's not a follower. It's just about being able to communicate. So in other words, you have your beliefs.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand. Like, you.
It sounds good. Like she said, she's trying to paint this perfect story. She was a good girl, got married at 18. How do you end up out here homeless by the time you're 35? In these last 17 years, 4 kids, 2 marriages, and now you're homeless.
A lot of stuff not being told, man. A lot of details. And I said the same thing like Mr. Pull Up in Chat. She doesn't present. If you see her and you don't know her backstory, she comes across as a good old wholesome tax-paying sister until you start asking where she from, and she bought it. She's like, yeah, don't F with me. So like I said, I have said it multiple times. Mental health and the discussion of it is taboo in the urban community for the most part. They just like, oh, she just crazy. No, she probably got a freaking chemical imbalance, man.
Right. There's something else going on. She lost her apartment. Even if you were paying rent, it take a while for them to evict you. How did you lose all of that without any kind of help? I don't understand.
4 kids, ex-husbands, mom and dad. She grew up. Come on, man. She done burned too many bridges. How does an adult that's doing good and trying to do their best in life ain't being a snake, how do you wind up and a woman homeless where won't nobody help you? That takes a lot.
Right.
You have a direct connection with the Most High. Yes. Okay, and so I get that. But it just, for me, I've learned to not do it to a point to where I offend people who are religious, right?
I don't be offending people. People are offensive just
because you decide to not do it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the part that
I'm all for it. Y'all
they have
doing
to
your thing.
Right. They have to kind of back off of that. So okay, now let's figure this out. Are both your parents still alive?
My mother just passed. Rest in peace, Mom. She just passed on
my condolences about
New Year's Eve.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's still so fresh.
It's very fresh, but she's in a better place. So I'm happy for her.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like I said, my sincerest condolences for that. Dad still living?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm a dad. I'm a daughter dad.
Okay.
Wait.
Good for you.
Wait, hold on. I'm a girl dad. That's what it was. I'm a girl dad. Okay. So I'm sitting here thinking, there is not any force on this earth that would ever allow me to be alive and either one of my girls to be homeless. Yeah. There's no force on earth that would allow that. Either I'm not alive or they're not homeless.
Yeah.
So what was it that caused you to be homeless for so long and your dad's still living?
I can just say, I want to say that my dad was afraid of the police because they told him that he couldn't help me.
Let me explain
or he would
something.
Get in trouble. So
let me explain something to you. Again, I mean, because there's no force. There's not a police force. There's not a U.S. Army. There's not a nobody that will stop me from making sure that my daughter, either one of them, Mookie or Kempu, is good to go.
I understand that.
And so, like, when you think about that, and I get it, you feel like, he was maybe afraid of the consequences, but how do you feel about, like, when you think about it at just the raw level?
During the time I was hurt.
How did you feel?
Just hurt.
Like hurt and
I felt
like betrayed or whatever, or like you wasn't being protected or cared for?
He act like he didn't know who I was.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, but I have forgiven him since.
Were you like a daddy's girl growing up?
Close to it. I'm more of a daddy's girl now, to be honest. And we've done made up and everything since then. But
what was?
I'll say this: tell the truth, shame the devil. She said her mom and dad was married growing up. It was a nuclear family. So tell the whole story. She probably done burnt the bridge. Her dad done probably co-signed on some cars that she done got repoed. She probably done stole his credit cards, stole money out his bank accounts, you name it. And he probably washed his hands.
All of the above. Tell the truth, shame the devil, man. Stop. We made up now. I'm more of a daddy's girl now. Stop it. Because you ain't got nobody else to run to. Mama gone, God rest her soul. Now daddy the only one left. Stop. Men, oh my goodness. Man, we got it rough out here sometimes, God bless you.
His like explanation or whatever.
I never asked.
Well, do you have that question?
Nope, I don't even want to know.
Okay, well, I ain't mad at that.
I done forgave and forgot.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I would love, if he was right here, I would ask him straight up, like.
He might start crying.
He might start crying?
Because he probably feels bad about it.
I mean, I know I would.
Yeah, he probably feels a level of guilt, which I don't even want him to feel, because that's my daddy. And I love
get it.
my
Yeah,
daddy.
And we're protective of our parents. I get it.
I feel like he felt like I should have did it differently.
What was your experience like out here for 5 months?
Rough.
Being homeless.
Sometimes I slept outside in the rain, in the cold. I had random men coming up to me trying to make me a prostitute. I've been offers to go under a bridge and sleep with them for money. And when you're desperate, you almost be thinking about stuff like that. But
did you do any of those things?
I didn't think, because the grace of God, because God.
You a lie, and the truth ain't in you.
Now just tell it all. We here now. Tell us about that time up under that bridge with Leon King, and he had that $100 for you. Tell us about it. We want to know.
Leon ain't getting under no bridge.
Leon, and that sound like an old Led Zeppelin song. Leon King had old Shirley up under the bridge. That's dark, man. See how she said, look, she said, and you cold out here, and that old nasty predatory D-boy walk past with them crack rocks and them twos and fews, like up under that bridge, be looking real tempting. That's a shame.
God always sent somebody in my corner to make sure I was protected. So I was protected out here, but it could have went south. It could have went south.
And so how did you end up coming up out of homelessness again?
My mother ended up getting sick, and my family wanted me back, and by then I was done with probation. There was no more warrants over my head, so my family was like, go back so we can help Ma, you know what I'm saying? So I was her caregiver before she passed. So I ended up going back to her, and that's how that happened.
This moisture that's welling up in your eyes, what is this about?
I mean, it's just, I'm glad I made it out, but it still hurts.
A lot to kind of think about sometimes.
It is like.
Have you had that moment where you just?
I don't know if I had. Maybe this is the moment. I just did what I had to do. But yeah, I'm just glad I made it out.
I'm gonna tell you, like, my dad passed a little over 3 weeks ago, and I cried every day.
Yeah.
But after the funeral, yesterday, when I dropped the kids back off, everybody was gone. Everybody's gone back, out of town, where they came from, everything else, and it was just me in my apartment. And when I tell you, I broke down, I bawled like a baby.
Yeah.
Snot just bawling. I mean, audibly, like, out of my mouth, crying.
Yeah. I haven't had that moment yet. It's
Okay,
bottled up in there, but
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it and I can feel it.
I'm not doing it right now on camera.
Well, you're gonna do it whenever God.
Later.
You're gonna do it whenever God wants you to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
We do things in God's time.
Amen.
All right. So, all right. Well, listen, Miss. This is obviously a very interesting interview. If anybody out there, and we're gonna do a big hug after this, okay? If anybody out there did want to reach out, help, or donate, do you have a way for them to do that? Social media.
And I'll say God ain't nowhere in that park. That's the devil's playground inside that park. You got to get away from that madness. Ain't nothing inside. It's insidious. That guy over there, you seen them. People out there smoking crack. They sleeping on benches, drunk. It's probably condoms and needles all over the place. That ain't a good place.
Yeah, y'all said it before, and his brother done let it be known that his father just passed away very, very recently. This is the second time, and she still can't find it in her to say, you know, her condolences. Observe this. Folks that are too busy feeling sorry for themselves, they can't feel sorry for you. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to her talking about nothing you got going. This brother said he just buried his father 2 days ago, and she just still face because it's not in her. She like, I can't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for me.
I was going to say what Mr. Walker said. I mean, how many times does he need to say it before she says, my condolences for the passing of your father? Because as soon as she told him her mother passed away on New Year's Eve, he said, my condolences. It seems like she's operating from a place of selfishness, and that's why her auntie called the police on her, and that's why her parents didn't go above and beyond to help her when she got in trouble, because it's all more of the same selfishness that she just keeps exuding. It's about me, my spiritual awakening, my children, the way he wants to discipline my children. No, when you're in a family, it's about what's best for the unit. And if your children are out of pocket, then that man is supposed to put them in their place, whether they have a father or not. Their father wasn't in the home because you broke it. You said he was abusive, even though you picked him when you were 18 and got knocked up by him. It seems like, and I know a girl like this. She's this man's third baby's mother. And when I talk to her, I have to shut down and not be my real self when we speak, because he has 2 other babies' mothers, and she talks as if she's the only one. And it annoys me to no end that you decided to be baby mama number 3, but it's just selfish. She operates from a place of, well, it's about me. That's, as a grown-up, when you have children, when you have family, and you're over the age of 18 or 21 out of college, it's not about what you want to do, your life. It's about what's good for your family and the community around you. And you're not supposed to be a burden or steal from anyone or take anyone for granted. And it just seems like she is the type of person to operate from that kind of selfish place. I mean, she's crying for herself, and she knows good and damn well she burned a bridge with her father, because what father would have their daughter sleeping on the street, having sex with strangers under a bridge? That's no father wants that.
Exactly.
I think there's a mental illness, or she's hooked on some kind of drug. Nobody has that downward spiral that fast, that quickly, loses everything. Children, job, home, family. Nobody loses all of that quickly unless you have an addiction or you're mentally ill.
And let's drive it home. And for a woman, like, this is a whole woman, and women get treated differently than men. Double standard, that's accepted, respected. For one to be out here with 4 kids and they just leaving her to her own devices,
yeah,
she done a lot of wrong. There ain't no way around that.
Right.
Appreciate you, Devon Mitchell. Says she gave no condolences. No one cares about melanated men's pain. Sad. There's some truth there.
Yeah. And for that, we're going to drag her to the pit.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Madness. Fuck is you talking about? This is Sparta!
You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to hide. You gotta count your blessings. You're sitting at the table. You hear me? Ooh, child, things will get brighter.